I'm here to confirm the rumors are indeed true. Tome Topple's coming back. Bibliophiles of the internet, today I'm here to help announce Tome Topple's official comeback and also talk about what I plan to read. Some of you already know how this works, but in case you don't, which is fair because there was quite a break since last round, Tome Topple is a 2-week-long readathon created by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, and the entire point of Tome Topple is to read books that are 500 plus pages. If you take nothing else from this video, please internalize what I just said. This is such a laid-back readathon, there's really no hard and fast rules, it's not super complicated, we're not even doing reading challenges this round, but you do have to read books that are 500 pages or more. If you read books that are shorter than that, I'm happy that you're reading something that's a beautiful thing, that's great for you, but you are not reading for Tome Topple in that case. This next round starts at midnight on June 21st and will continue through 11:59 p.m. or 23:59 p.m. on July 4th, and those times, of course, are according to your own time zone. This time around, we have 6 wonderful hosts, including myself. There are no newbies, I think we're all vets at this point. Besides myself, there's Sam, of course, Gaia, Tori, Sierra, and Sean. Everyone's channels and platforms will be linked down below. Between all 6 of us, we're pretty much on every social media platform, so feel free to follow us for updates. Speaking of updates, we love when you share your own reading updates with us. Feel free to tag us on social media. We do still technically have a Twitter, so you can tag Tome_Topple on Twitter if you so choose. You can also use the hashtag TomeTopple across all social media platforms as well. And we also have a Discord server so y'all can connect with your fellow readers. Again, all the important stuff will be linked down below. I believe the Discord might be the place to go if you want any updates about reading sprints or stuff like that. Speaking of which, us hosts will of course be taking turns doing sprints over the course of those 2 weeks. Again, it's pretty laid back. We're only able to run sprints according to our schedules. A lot of us have full-time jobs, families, etc. So there may not be official sprints happening every hour of every day, but we will let you know when they're happening, again, most likely on Discord. I would say expect more live stream style sprints this round. That seems to be what most people are looking for these days. So those of us hosting might choose to go live on our individual platforms, whether that's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. So if you like to read with other people, you will have plenty of chances to do so. I think that's all the housekeeping stuff. Like I said before, all of the important information and links will be written out in the description box below. But now let's talk about my own Tome Topple reading plans. Those of you who have seen me do round after round of Tome Topple already know my strategy when it comes to those 2 weeks. I usually choose 2 books max with the intention of reading 1 tome per week. That plan of action has not failed me yet, and so I'm not going to change. But here's the thing, I know for sure what I want my first tome to be, but I might need your help voting on the second. First of all, because this round is starting in June and it's still going to be Pride Month, I wanted to read something queer. So I think I'm going to be very brave and finally read A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. I'll briefly put up the US cover because you might recognize that one, but this is a queer fantasy romance set in a fantasy world partially inspired by the Ottoman Empire. It's about a shy prince named Kadu who is desperate to prove his loyalty to the queen, his sister, and so he volunteers to lead the investigation into a recent break-in at one of their guilds. He will have the help of his newly appointed and coldly handsome bodyguard, and together they might just uncover a conspiracy that could destroy the kingdom's financial standing and bring about its untimely ruin. I've heard really great things about this book and this author over the past couple of years ever since it came out. The synopsis also mentions a kind of magic referred to as touch tasting and the use of precious metals in this fantasy world, mythology running side by side with history, so I'm very intrigued, and also the promise of a bodyguard romance is honestly my weakness. And for posterity, this hardback edition, not including the acknowledgement section, is exactly 500 pages. Okay, so here's where I need your help to narrow down what my second book, if I even get to a second book, should be. My top contender at the moment, honestly just because I have to read it in July anyways, is my arc of When the World Tips Over by Jandy Nelson. When I got this book mailing, I was shocked at how chonky this is. So this book comes out in September 2024. It's a contemporary YA story about the Fall siblings who live in Northern California. Many years ago, their father mysteriously disappeared, which essentially splintered their family into pieces. The 3 Fall siblings, who are each 12, 17, and 19 respectively, are struggling to find their way when an enigmatic rainbow-haired girl shows up in town and turns their worlds upside down. Somehow she becomes a vital part of each of their lives in different ways, and before they can figure figure out who she is, catastrophe strikes the family once again. And I'm just going to quote this next part directly from the synopsis. With road trips, rivalries, family curses, love stories within love stories within love stories, and sorrows and joys passed from generation to generation, this is the intricate, luminous tale of a family's complicated past and present, and only in telling their stories can they hope to rewrite their futures. There's a lot to unpack in this synopsis. There seems to be some references to magic or surrealism as well. It says the youngest sibling can see spirits, the oldest sibling can raise the temperature of a room just by entering it. This rainbow-haired girl could be mystical, she could be not. Honestly, I don't know what to expect. Now, I'm not going to give as detailed synopses for the other options, but I am going to go through the shortlist so that y'all can hopefully help me choose. The first alternate choice giving me serious pause is The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. This is 525 pages. It's an epic fantasy story about two warriors guiding an ancient god across a broken land to end the tyrannical reign of the royal family, who are bleeding the land dry and oppressing its citizens with their frightful, stolen magical powers. I've heard sensational things about this book. Everyone says it's absolutely masterful storytelling with really interesting narrative framework that sort of echoes or emulates oral storytelling tradition. I also read and loved Jimenez's other book, The Vanished Birds, and I've been desperate to read this one ever since. Another possible contender is The Will of the Many by James Islington. This is a whopping 639 pages. Saga Press actually very kindly sent me this finished copy before it was even released, but I've been way too scared to pick it up, even though I've heard nothing but great things. From the little I know, this is like a magical academy type of story blended with a high-stakes mystery. It's about a main character who goes undercover to attend a cutthroat school known as the Academy, where students go to have their will, which is a form of magic in this world, leached away and added to the collective power of the ruling class. So he's pretending to be an ordinary student, but really he's been sent there to find answers, to solve a murder, to search for an ancient weapon, and to uncover secrets that might just tear the Republic apart. I'm throwing this into the mix because, like, if not now, when? You know what I mean? If not during a round of Tome Topple, when will I find the strength and mental fortitude to finally crack this open? But we also can't forget about Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. This one is 588 pages. It's a blend of historical fiction, horror, and fantasy written by an Argentinian author and translated from the original Spanish. It's about how one woman's death puts her husband and son on a collision course with her family, who are literally demonic. Again, to directly quote the synopsis, Our Share of Night is a novel like no other. A family story, a ghost story, a story of the occult and the supernatural, a book about the complexities of love and longing with queer subplots and themes. What am I supposed to do with that? That is so incredibly up my alley, and yet I'm still a coward and terrified by the page count. Listen, having to choose between the 4 books I just mentioned was already an impossible Herculean task for this poor Libra, but just a few days ago, a new fighter enters the ring, and it's none other than The Mirrored Heavens by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is 595 pages. It's the conclusion to an epic fantasy trilogy written by an indigenous author imagining an alternate history fantasy world in the pre-Columbian Americas. The first book, Black Sun, is all about the anticipation leading up to the winter solstice, which will coincide with a rare solar eclipse, which has been predicted to be the unbalancing of the world, and the world does indeed become dramatically unbalanced. That's all I will say since this is the 3rd and final book, but I have read and loved both previously published books in this series. I've been highly anticipating this conclusion, and I think you can see why this is such an impossible choice. To recap those choices, that's When the World Tips Over, The Spear Cuts Through Water, The Will of the Many, Our Share of Night, and The Mirrored Heavens. Again, I can definitely see myself reading and loving any of those. When the World Tips Over only has a slight edge over the others for me because of a soft deadline I have to read and share about that book, but I can be swayed, I can be convinced. If you do sound off in the comments down below, please only choose one book to champion. I know they're all good, but I'm already in shambles. Please do not make it an even harder choice. So those are my somewhat amorphous reading plans for this upcoming round of Tome Topple. If you're taking part, I hope your reading plans are more solidified than mine. I would love to hear what you plan to read in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you're excited, and until next time, educate yourself, be kind to yourself, take care of yourself and others, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page.